Oh, good evening. It's the evening of June the 8th, 2022. Been thinking about a lot of things recently, but primarily thinking about choice, chance, and consequences. Um, Sort of a trifecta of choice, change, and chance all coming together. And the results that they have, I've been trying really hard not to write too much about my transplant journey or the cancer journey as it is right now, as it exists right now, for a number of different reasons. But I don't know whether I was afraid you were getting tired of hearing about it or I was getting tired of talking about it. Seemed like it would be one or the other. But in the midst of all of that thinking, pondering the situation I find myself in, I also wound up thinking an awful lot about the fact that there are certain things that are inevitable in the course of a lifetime, things that we can't or shouldn't fight, that we shouldn't contend against, things that we should find a way to reconcile, at least within our own minds, so that we can make the right choices when we're confronted with these elements of change and the choices that we have to make. And recognizing, of course, that you can make your own choices. Free will allows us to do that, but you can't choose your own consequences. They're going to come along regardless, foreseen or unforeseen, expected or unexpected, wanted or unwanted. Something's going to happen, and as a result of something happening, choices are going to be made. And because of the choices that are made, changes are going to occur. And because of the changes that occur, there are going to be consequences. It's fairly straightforward when you think about it. It has a lot to do with choice, and the choices that we have. Even choices that we can make that are not in our own best interest or don't act in our own best interest. So I think that it's really prudent, I guess would be the best word, to stop every once in a while and recognize what's happening while it's happening, because too often we don't. Too often things unfold and we react without actually thinking about whether or not we do have a choice, whether or not there's more than one path, whether or not we should react at all, which in itself is a choice. We spent a lot of time together over the last few years, and I've tried to be as open and honest, forthright as I could possibly be. So I think you pretty well have a good idea of, philosophically, how I process all of this and how I would react. I'm writing about it now because, quite frankly, I'm compelled to write about it because I think it's going to be impactful on what I want to write about next, which is, kind of a retrospective of my medical odyssey and the new strange and jagged turns it's taken. I'm fine. Don't don't worry. I'm not. There's nothing wrong or nothing more wrong than there is with anybody else who's dealing with whatever they're dealing with. So, in the meantime, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the fact that life is not static. Nature really doesn't enjoy stasis. At least it doesn't act like it does. And as a result, the circumstances and the situations that you find yourself in are going to go ahead and require some adjustment, some modification. How you handle that, whether you handle it thoughtfully or not, is really what's important here. So, after all of this time we spent together, you have a pretty good idea how I would handle it, or I would handle things, I think. I certainly haven't tried to hide it from anyone. And all you have to do now is figure out what the best way is for you to take a look at that. What are the decisions that you have to make? What are the consequences that you can see? And what could some of the consequences be that you can't see? In the meantime, stay well, take care. Off to see another doctor tomorrow morning, and another infusion on Sunday. So the good news for me is that even with COVID, even with the transplant, I have a pretty rich and robust social life. It just happens to be that almost every person I'm with in the course of time has initials after their name. So take it easy. Talk to you soon.